Making the case for equality, 50 years of legal milestones in LGBTQ history offers a unique glimpse into legal battles and strategies behind these historic wins, highlighting key moments that shaped rights in America.
Camille Taylor from Lambda Legal joins us now to share more. And Camille, I was just mentioning to you, when you think coffee table book, you think of a book that's full of beautiful pictures that people just flip through and they go, oh. But you guys have taken this to another level with this book.
That's
beautiful
right.
Pictures inside, but
there are certainly a lot of gorgeous portraits of many of the earlier warriors in the LGBTQ civil rights movement, and it's a very pictorial way of learning the history and meeting some of the really important figures in this history. But it's also written to be accessible to high school students, to college students. It's meant to be an easy way of learning about the struggles that came before us.
What's the hope for making it accessible for young people?
Well, it goes back 50 years
to
talk about early days when LGBTQ people were presumed criminals simply by acknowledging their own identities. It talks about various events when, for example, states amended their constitutions to ban same-sex couples from marrying. 13 states did that in 2004.
Wow.
And it also has a lot of reason for hope in this book, because just last night, 3 of those states voted to remove those bans from their state constitutions. And the book tells the story of all of the brave same-sex couples and their children who fought for the freedom to marry and who made it the law of the land.
are there some cases in there from Illinois that people might be familiar with or can learn more about?
Absolutely. There are a number of cases from Illinois. There are cases that describe wonderful Illinois families who stood up for the freedom to marry and who fought in court and then supported legislation that passed that enabled same-sex couples to marry here in Illinois. And there are also cases that talk about the bravery of fighting against discrimination. So whether it's employment discrimination, people being fired simply because they're gay or lesbian or trans, or whether it's a form of discrimination because they're living with HIV and they're facing discrimination because of that. This book tells those stories.
Because really, we were talking in the break, the hope is to help young folks who might be struggling with their own identity right now realize you're not alone.
Absolutely. And I know that particularly for trans youth who've been the subject of a lot of vicious attacks in this last election cycle, there's a message in this book, which is to persevere. Things will get better. We have faced that sort of demonization and attacks against the LGBTQ community in the past, and we've weathered them. So if you are feeling those deep feelings of hurt as a result of what has happened in the election cycle, the important thing is to reach out to trusted adults, to peers, and also to take comfort in what's come before, because we've managed to overcome similar obstacles and similar hate in the past.
So tell us a little bit about the work that Lambda Legal does.
So we are an impact litigation organization. We fight for law reform to change the law for the better for LGBTQ people and people living with HIV.
Okay.
For 50 years, I mean, you think about how much this book depicts that you guys have done, but also how much work you still have to do.
Absolutely. And we had to fight for our own existence back in 1973 when we tried to form a nonprofit to fight for the rights of LGBTQ people. And we were told at that time when we tried to register that nonprofit with the state of New York, and this is before my time, but the folks who came before me, that there was no beneficial purpose to fighting for the rights of LGBTQ people at that time. So that was the first lawsuit to create the existence of this organization.
Oh my goodness, and 50 years later, you're still fighting battles all along the way. And are you just in specific states or are you all across the country?
We are a national organization and we fight in federal and in state courts.
Okay.
And at the moment, a lot of our biggest battles are to defend trans youth from attacks both at the state legislature level and also from the federal government.
How can people become involved?
Well, we welcome all sorts of involvement, whether you want to volunteer, whether you're an attorney who would like to do a case with us as a cooperating attorney, or if you'd like to donate.
A lot of work that still needs to be done, unfortunately.
Yes.
But congratulations, the book's beautiful.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.